Hello, Eagle parents, and welcome to Dunlap High School. We've got a little bit of a video orientation ready for you today. It's not nearly as good as the in-person thing. We completely understand that. And the Dunlap High School that you're going to be entering this year is going to be totally different than one that you would have expected to have entered last year at this time. So bear with us here as we have a lot of challenges and obstacles that we're trying to overcome. But we're going to try to give you as much information about us as we can in a real short, condensed video. Obviously, like I said, it's not going to be fully comprehensive, but it's some things that we think are important to you. So let's go ahead and get into that, and we'll go from there. So the purpose of our freshman orientation is to provide our students and their parents with a broad overview of the expectations and the processes. Now, typically we know those expectations and those processes very well. But as you can imagine, we are continuing to work through all of the challenges that we have with our current situation regarding COVID. So a lot of times it's going to take us a little bit of time to get back to you on some questions as we reconcile our predicted answers with the ever-changing guidelines that we're given. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Myself, like I said, this is my name is Scott Adrian. I've been the principal here. This will be my fifth year. I am assisted by two wonderful assistants. One of them is Mr. Johnson, and he is responsible for the letters of the alphabet if your name begins with A through L. So he is your assistant principal. That's Mr. Johnson. This is his fourth year of being a DHS, so he's very familiar with the processes. And then we have a new member to our administrative staff, Miss McGann, and she's responsible for students with a last name that begin with an N through a Z. So she comes to us from District 150 with some experience at Richwood High School. So we're super excited to welcome her on board. And of course, I know many of you know our athletic director, our director of athletics for the district is Mrs. Katie Cazalet. And you won't find an administrative team that's going to work harder than the three people that I've just mentioned. So very fortunate to have them on board. Like I said, the roles, we divide up all the duties amongst our administrative staff. But for the most part, the assistant principals will deal with all student discipline issues. I will get involved from time to time if they're over if their caseload is very busy. I will become involved. I also become involved in serious offenses and any offense that involves disrespect to a teacher or staff member in the district. I typically get involved in those as well. Along those lines of discipline, we try to use a restorative model of discipline, which we try to restore a relationship when there's been an infraction or something that's happened in the building that has caused two parties to separate. We work hard to restore those relationships because at the end of the day, we all have to get along. So you'll know more about that if your student becomes involved in that. We are very well versed in that, and we take that very seriously. We also have new office staff members. So we have two new secretaries at the front. We have Mrs. Musgrove, who will be responsible for attendance. And then we also have Mrs. Roca, who will be the main receptionist and assistant to the administrator. So those two will be new faces here, new voices on the phone. If you've had a student go through school before, those will be new to you. We've moved Miss Wolfcool, the former main receptionist, to our registrar position. So she's working on student schedules, residency, transfers, and state data. So a new role for her. So my role in this whole thing today is just to tell you a little bit about our overall expectations and to explain to you a little bit about what we call Team Dunlap. Team Dunlap is a DHS initiative that we started. Well, this will be the fifth year. We started at my first year here. And it's all about taking care of Dunlap students and those people in our building first before we venture out and making sure that we serve all of the people in here. So that can be a big task at times, but one that we take very seriously. So you'll hear us say Team Dunlap all the time. And the reason why is because really rarely is there one person responsible for any of the success that happens here. It's always a team effort. Just creating this new master schedule that we've had, the new remote schedule, that was all a team effort. So like I said, we tried to lead with a culture of a bunch of different leaders and to give us the best product. So our overall expectations, mine are pretty simple. It's be kind, be respectful, and then we use a phrase called comply and complain. So the first one's easy. Be kind. All right. It's challenging enough for high school students to be high school students as it is. I mean, no matter what you may perceive of a person, no matter how perfect you perceive their life to be, they are dealing with something within, or something that you may see yourself, but you never really know what someone's going through, despite their outward appearance. So the first rule is be kind. The second one is be respectful. We pride ourselves on our diversity here, and it's one of the things that makes us stronger. I challenge you as a student to take advantage of that diversity and those different viewpoints while you're in your classroom and you're having discussions. We have a lot to learn from others, and that starts by being respectful. Like I said, all of our students come to school with some sort of challenge. They don't need people putting more obstacles in their way throughout the day. They need people helping them navigate the obstacles. So be one of those people that helps navigate those obstacles. And the last phrase is comply and complain. So what that means is you're not going to like all the decisions that your teachers make, or they ask you to do, or the admin asks you to do. But at that time, rather than elevate the situation, rather than become disrespectful or say something that you regret, just comply with the situation, the request, and then complain later in a different manner. So if, for instance, if a teacher asks you to give them your phone, give them your phone. If you don't like the way that worked out, then come to the office and complain to your assistant principal or to myself about why you don't think your phone should have been confiscated. Don't sit there in class and argue with a student or argue with a teacher, because let's be honest, you're not going to win that conversation. So that's just one example. It can happen in a basketball game or a football game. If we pull you from the crowd for doing something inappropriate, don't make it worse. Just come down. Let's talk it through. If you didn't like the way it worked out, then talk to us the following morning and we can work that out. Okay. So that's comply and complain. It helps you avoid getting into a situation worse than what it needs to be. My next statement would be to make the most of your time here at DHS. I know you think, man, 4 years of high school. Well, believe me, it's going to be 4 very quick years of high school. So make the most of your time. The best analogy I can give you is my son, Brody, my oldest son, is going to be a senior at Iowa, and he never was one much for participating in clubs. He was always more of an athlete. Well, at the University of Iowa, he immersed himself in the school culture, joined a couple of different business clubs, and got to know his student advisors and his professors very well. And he had a great experience at the University of Iowa. So taking that and bringing it to high school, the same things apply. Get involved in some clubs or activities that give you leadership opportunities, that give you the opportunity to grow and be around other people of the same interest. And the same token, get to know your teachers really well and your guidance counselor, your school counselor. Those are the people that are going to help you navigate your senior year when your college choices or you need letters of recommendation. The better your relationships are with those people, the more access to information and knowledge you're going to have, and the more likely they're going to write you a glowing letter of recommendation. Okay, so we have adults in the building in places to help you succeed. Take advantage of those opportunities. All right, that starts with conversations and greetings every day or every afternoon. Just don't try to get out of your comfort zone if you're really shy. The next thing is we have over 40 clubs that span the array of possible interests. Get involved in one of those clubs, at least one of those clubs. And then we also have obviously our assortment of extra after school extracurricular activities and the fine arts and athletics. We encourage you to be involved in those as well. So again, be involved, pick what's manageable, challenge yourself with that. Okay. That brings me to my next point. Letter C, challenge yourself. You want to take the most challenging courses you can without the possibility of being overwhelmed. Okay. So you want to do just out of your comfort zone with that. Stretch yourself a little bit. If you just sign up for the courses that you're always comfortable with, you're probably not going to learn as much as you could learn. So challenge yourself, but don't get crazy. If you don't want to be valedictorian, it's okay. You don't have to be valedictorian. You don't have to take all those honors courses. You don't have to get a 4.0 if that's not that's not you. That's fine. Because we have a lot of really successful students who aren't valedictorians that go on to earn academic scholarships. And while I'm talking about scholarships, I want you to please understand that you're a lot more likely to get a scholarship for academics from Dunlap High School than you are for athletics. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, but we can count on one hand each year the number of students that get some type of financial support to go to a school to play athletics. All right. So out of the 300 that we graduate, roughly 1.5% of those students are that student that get some type of athletic scholarship. And very rarely are they a full athletic scholarship. On the other side of the coin, we have dozens of students that get academic or support for academic success. So remember that. Spend that time and energy on your academics and don't focus solely on athletics. I'm not saying that athletics aren't important, because they are. And band and choir are very important as well. But they're not the end all. Okay. So, take the opportunity to have a well-rounded 4-year education. All right. Number 2 under C, advocate for yourself. This is going to be the biggest challenge for some of you. Having said that, some of you are naturals at advocating for yourself, meaning that when you have a discrepancy on an assessment, you don't think you got the same grade you should have gotten or the correct grade, then go to your teacher and ask them why. Ask them to explain how you missed that opportunity to do well, or what did you do incorrectly, and ask them if there's an opportunity to make it right. Have those conversations. Learn to advocate for yourself, because in 4 years, your mother and father won't be able to advocate for yourself. Or advocate for you. So make sure you're learning that skill. That's probably the largest skill that you can leave high school with. And then try a new activity like we talked about that gives you an opportunity at a leadership role. Those are really important. That will build your capacity as an individual and help you grow as an individual. Letter D. So your civic responsibility to your school and community right now is, if you are ill, you need to follow our COVID guidelines. So if you're suffering from those consequences, you need to notify us and you need to follow the protocol, which Mr. Johnson will outline for you. But please, that is very important. Don't dismiss any of those symptoms. We know for a fact that we have COVID positive students right now on our rosters, and we are dealing with those, but we have to know who they are. Okay, so that's all of our responsibility, adults in the building as well. And the last thing I'm going to leave for the parents is a saying that we always use: prepare your child for the path, don't prepare the path for the child. Okay, so the biggest gift you can give to your student is to let them struggle a little bit at DHS. I'm not saying let them sink, but let them struggle a little bit. Let them advocate for themselves. Encourage them to advocate for themselves. If they advocate for themselves and they don't get the desired response from the individual that they were talking with, and you're not satisfied, then by all means intervene in that equation with a teacher, a counselor, myself, or whatever else. But if we take that opportunity away from them to advocate, to learn from that experience, we won't be doing them any favors. We know that when they go to college, or they go into the workforce, or they go into the military, they are going to be the only ones there that are going to be able to advocate for themselves. So if we don't give them that opportunity, they will not grow and they will not improve that skill. And believe me, that's probably one of the biggest areas of growth that we see as students come in as a freshman and leave as a senior. And it's a great thing. Even though we don't always agree with them sometimes, it is great to see them advocate for themselves and support their points. So please allow them that opportunity. That's a huge part of their education here at Dunlap High School. As always, I am always available via email. You can call the office. I may not be available right then, but we'll schedule a time we can meet. The same thing with our assistants, principals. We're here to serve our students and serve our students' parents. So understand that, that we totally understand our role is serving the people in this building. With that said, that's a little bit about Team Dunlap, and I'm going to let Mr. Johnson and Miss McGann talk about the last part of our agenda for today. Thank you, and we'll be in touch.
Hello there, Eagles. Thank you, Dr. Adrian, for the introduction and an overview of all things DHS. We're going to dive in a little bit further as well, especially some items that involve your assistant principals. We have 2 assistant principals here at Dunlap High School. David Johnson here, A through L students for the start of last names, and also Miss McGann, Megan McGann, will be M through Z for the last names, M through Z. A couple overviews. As you know, this is a unique year for us. A couple main items that we're going to be talking about a lot in terms of keeping everybody safe and getting everybody back in the building will be social distancing. There's that 6-foot expectation to the full extent possible. We understand that's not always possible in classrooms and in the hallways, but we're going to do that as much as possible. That's always our goal. As much space as we can find at any location around the building. Also, we're going to be wearing masks. We are going to look for masks to have covered noses in terms of wearing it appropriately and making sure mouths are covered as well. And that keeps us all safe by making sure we don't have any particulate in the air and really cutting down on any potential virus transmission, which is important for us to get everybody back and keep everybody safe. For hall use, we're going to be very focused on keeping it moving. So if you're traveling down the hall, you'll be staying on the right side as you travel. Head directly from class to class. We're going to make sure we cut down on hanging out times throughout the building.
Hi guys, I'm Miss McGann. I'm super excited to meet all of you. I wish it was in person right now, but we will see you on Monday bright and early. When you do get here on Monday, instead of going to lockers, you guys are not going to know any different. We're going straight to class. When you get to your first block class, whether it's first hour or fourth hour, you're going to get a temperature check. So it's the first block of the day. If you are a 0 student, you will get a temperature check there as well. So any teacher in their first block will be temperature checking. We do have thermometers in the classroom. Teachers will know this, but just so that you're aware, we will be utilizing the elevator by the auditorium. And that is where you will go if you don't feel well, to send you up to our care room where our nurse is located. So those details will be coming, but just so that you're aware that we do have a designated spot for students that don't feel well, you will not come to the office. You'll be sent to the elevator to be checked out by our nurse who is upstairs in what we will call our care room. Okay. I know each one of you has a phone, and I know that all of you are on social media. So go ahead and get out your phone, screenshot this page. You're going to want to follow us on all of our social media sites so that you have all the information. So the admin team, the teachers here at Dunlap, we're constantly putting out information through the email systems, but also on social media because we know that's where you guys are at. So follow us on Instagram at Dunlap High School 323. Follow us on Snapchat at Dunlap High School. We are on Twitter at DHS_Eagle. We use lots of hashtag Team Dunlap. That's what you're going to find if you want to follow us. And also on Facebook, follow us at Dunlap High School. We are starting a campaign for wearing masks. You're going to find Team Dunlap and hashtag MaskUp323. Your teachers are going to start blowing up your social media with pictures of them in your mask. Day one, we want pictures of you guys in your mask. So start getting ready to take your selfies. Tag Team Dunlap, tag MaskUp323. You'll check those out on all our social media platforms.
Hey, yo, you guys and gals out there.
Hello, Eagles. We're going to talk a little bit more about tardies. So tardies are done on a week-to-week basis. Each week, your tardies reset. And sometimes that's been a problem, especially for freshmen trying to figure out their schedule. We understand the first day or two, it might be a little difficult to find the right room. But we have helped you out in that there are no lockers. So no reason to go back to the locker. You got your books on your back. Just head straight to class. We'll be there to help you as you go. But the tardy policy is included here. So the first and second tardy in a week will be a teacher warning that'll be logged. Third, fourth, fifth is a 2-hour after school. We really want you to avoid that. 6, 7, 8 is a Saturday. That's 4 hours. That's a lot of time on a Saturday. And then 9th and beyond is an in-school suspension. That is very rare. We highly recommend avoiding that. Cell phones. Keep them away during class. We ask you to keep those put up unless the teacher asks you to pull those out and to use them. We know you love them. There's times throughout the day, possibly when you're traveling or when you're at lunch, you can use those. But during class, one should be focused on class unless your teacher tells you otherwise. So the first violation, the teacher will go ahead and hold on to that cell phone through the end of class. After that, it comes to the office and will need to be picked up by a parent or guardian.
Okay, guys, let's talk Chromebooks. So today was Chromebook pickup. I saw several of you and your parents picking up your Chromebooks. Chromebooks are to be used for school, so that's why you have it. They're not supplied to you for anything other than your curriculum goals, okay? So there is a district and Board of Education policy regarding our Chromebooks, and violation of these is all laid out within that. What you need to know is that you need to bring your Chromebook every day and use it appropriately. So we do have support within the high school for your Chromebook. If it is not working, we ask that you put in a help desk ticket. That address is on this page, helpdesk@dunlapstudents.net, and that goes to our tech team so that they can assist you. S12 is the room for technology assistance. That may have changed. And we will update you on that just because I know several of the teachers are moving. You will turn your Chromebook in at the end of the school year as well. Okay, if your Chromebook has some sort of damage to it or some sort of failure, the district does determine whether or not that is an equipment failure that's covered by that warranty, or if it's a result of negligence or something that could have been avoided from the user. So those layouts are in our video here. First repair is 100% covered by the district. Second repair is 50-50. Third repair is 80% your responsibility. And then a fourth repair, most likely having the device replaced, will be 100% student cost. So you definitely want to take care of your Chromebook just like you take care of your phone. This is your learning device for the entire school year. Okay, let's talk dress code. So dress code is in place. Masks are going to be a part of our dress code policy as well. So not wearing a mask correctly, refusing to wear a mask, refusing to, have any adjustments to your mask that are asked of you by teachers or administration is going to be really important as everything else. So it's there. Our dress code policy is very clear in our handbook. And all in all, it should not cause any distraction to the learning environment, okay? I promise you that none of us are out to just find dress code violations. It's going to be a distraction to what we're here to do, and that's learn. So girls definitely want to watch, especially bare shoulders. We don't want any bare shoulders, so we shouldn't see tube tops, open backs, spaghetti straps. You will be asked to cover up with any of those clothing items. Hats are going to be off in the building for both female and males. In addition, with males, no cutoffs, no really ripped up jeans that expose anything. We want you to look acceptable, okay? Masks are going to be on at all times. So I know there's lots of discussion. Can we take it off? Your teachers will provide you with mask breaks. However, it's not going to be unless you are outside. So when you're in the hallways, your mask is still on. When you ride the bus, your mask is still on. You can take it off to eat at lunch, obviously, and when you're outside and you're socially distanced outside, that may be appropriate. Your teacher will determine when it is appropriate for you to take your mask off. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask anyone around, but you are going to see teachers, administration, all staff in the building, and students will have masks on for their full day.
For a little bit about credits required for classification, you can check the screen here as well to learn a little bit more about what it takes to graduate. But to be considered a freshman on track by the end of your first year, you want to have 5.5 credits. End of the year by a sophomore on track, 11. Juniors 16 and a half, and then seniors 21. And you can use this visual here as a nice reference source, but just know if you have any questions, you can also ask your counselors as well. We do have some items that go with the class designation. So when you become a sophomore or a junior, it does affect things like your lockers, which we're not going to have those this year, but also your ability to go to things like prom, or whether or not you need to take finals when you have a senior designation. So just keep that in mind. And if you have questions about your classes or the credits, you can go ahead and ask your counselors. A few other items here. If you're in the hallway, we are very big on passes, especially right now when we're trying to keep the hallways empty. So make sure if you have to go somewhere, you're communicating with other teachers. We really only want to be out of classes right now unless if it's a necessity. Sanitation is going to be big. We're going to make sure that we are sanitizing throughout the buildings. We ask everyone to take part in that, whether that's hand washing, making sure you're using hand sanitizer from class to class throughout the day. That's going to be up to all of us to keep our community clean. And this graphic on the left here, no matter what happens in life, be good people. Just understand we're all going to be under some stress coming back with new parameters. Masks are going to be new to us, but we'll make it work. We're going to be here for each other and understand of each other, but just come back ready to be flexible, ready to do what we need to do to stay safe and to stay in school. So now I'd like to give a special thanks to Asaya Adnan and Anjali Yadavali on their work for this year's orientation. Thank you.
Hey freshmen, class of 2024. Welcome to your virtual Dunlap High School tour. I know it's not ideal, but we'll do our best. My name is Asi Adnan and our camera woman is Anjali Yadavali. We are both incoming seniors and part of student council and a bunch of other clubs, so you'll see us and the other members of student council around. But without further ado, let's head on in. Welcome to Dunlap High School. So on your right, you'll have the town center, and this is just a meeting space for clubs or for teachers or the school board or literally anyone. So normally at the start of the school day, everyone would head down this hallway to the commons to wait before classes. But due to Corona, we'll be going directly to our classes at the start of the day, which for most freshmen means it's down through this ramp in the Freshman Academy. So following down here, we have two ramps. So to the right is to the main academy, and to the left is a shortcut, which will show you the other side later in the video. So welcome to the Freshman Academy. Over here we have some of our literature classes for Langlet 1 and Langlet 1 honors. And normally these lockers would be used by freshmen, but since we have Corona, everyone will have their stuff in their backpacks, so we won't be using these lockers. Over here we have some of our bio classrooms, including bio honors. And then down here we will have another bio classroom on our right, as well as speech and software applications. You can see over there. Going around, there will be a math class and then a Spanish class. Over here is the long hallway. So coming over here, we have our S rooms. So we have a lot of history and foreign language, which is our Spanish and our French classrooms over here. And coming over on our left, you'll see a hallway, and coming down the freshman ramp, you might remember that there was a hallway coming down to the left, and that's where that comes through. So over here, and that's just a shortcut to get here faster. But yeah, these lockers would usually be used by the sophomores. Coming a bit down the long hallway, we have our library over here, and right now it's still being cleaned up and all that. And while this year we won't be able to go in and browse books, you're still allowed to check out books online. So it's definitely a resource you can still utilize. But coming down here, we'll start seeing the N rooms. So one of the cool things about Dunlap is that it numbers its rooms based on position. So any F rooms you're looking for will be down in the Freshman Academy, that's why it's F. All the S rooms will be down south of the long hallway, which is what we just passed. And coming up, we have the N part of the hallway, which would be north. So we just passed the library and we're in the N hallway, the N part of the long hallway. And down there, it's a little dark right now, but we will see more of the N hallway. And this is usually where juniors have their classes. So coming over here is more of the advanced science and math classes. So this is the N hallway, and over here, this is where juniors mostly have their stuff. So we'll have a lot of, so those are the class windows they usually see when coming into the school. So that's very cool. But yeah, these are usually junior classes and junior hallways. And then coming down here, we have the W hallway, which W stands for West. And this is the W hallway. So over on this side, we have the staircase going upstairs, which freshmen don't have a ton of classes there, so not too big of a deal. And over here, we have the rest of the hallway. And then this is the W hallway. So this has mostly senior classes, but you might be able to find some of your history classes here or advanced math classes. But this is mostly where the seniors would usually have their lockers. So at the end of the W hallway, we have this little hallway that goes to the left. And over here we have the staircase going upstairs to the other hallway, the other W hallways. And that's mostly like higher level classes, like AP classes for juniors and seniors. And coming over here, we have the hallway going into the commons. Coming upstairs from the stairwell closest to the commons, we're now to the second floor. And these are also W classrooms, and they're mostly catered towards juniors and seniors with higher level classes such as AP Sciences. But we do have our physical science and our visual media classroom all the way down to the end. So those could be for freshmen as well. At the end of the hallway, we also have a staircase going down. So coming off from the W hallway, we come to this hallway where we lead into the commons down there. And over here we have where we would get lunch, where our lunch lines are, and right now it's closed. But once they open up, you'll see it's pretty straightforward to just follow the line, and the exit is over there on the other side. So now we've entered the commons, and this is just where we normally have lunch, and right now you can see all the lunch tables behind me. But this is also where we would meet at the start of the day in normal situations. And over here, if you come over here, you can see that this is where you come out after getting your food. And down there, we have our gym. Over here, now we have the gym. And it was actually recently redone, so it looks super nice. But normally this is, of course, where we would have our gym class and also where we would do our truck rallies. And then walking down here is where we will find our weights room along with the health and driver's ed room. So to get to the weights room, the health room, and the driver's ed room, you'll have to come straight through the gym and down here. Coming down that hallway, we have the trainer's room over here, which is for any athletes who get injured and need to get it checked out. And then we also have our auxiliary gym, which is just another gym. And then coming down here, we have our weights room to the left, and then our health and driver's ed room over here. So these can be some of the most confusing rooms to get to, but when you first come in through the door, you have the health room over here, and then you keep walking down to get to the driver's ed room over here. Coming out of the gym with the commons behind me, we have our fine arts hallway on the right. And those double doors with the eagle are two of the double doors that lead to the band and orchestra room. This is the fine arts hallway. So this is where we have our art rooms along with our chorus, band, and orchestra rooms. So coming here we have one art room, and then we have another one right here. And normally these lockers are used by the band students, but no lockers this year. And here we have another set of doors that leads to the orchestra and band room. So the same room that we saw at the double doors earlier. Coming out of the fine arts hallway, we have the chorus room, my personal favorite, to the left, and the stage 323 auditorium to the right, where we normally would host our fall play and winter musical. And coming out of there, we're back to the front entrance. So the school is mostly a big circle, pretty easy to follow.